How interesting. Hello, I am your host. It's Venus, and you are listening to my show. I just didn't say that. Oh, but I do. Oh, I do. I always say something stupid. Always. That's what makes me me. Can't live without me, without stupidity. So today, we're going to continue, since now we have better audio. Everybody has an idea. And not everybody's ideas are for everybody else. Sometimes our ideas become great ideas and they get patented and used every day. Sometimes you wouldn't even have known if somebody didn't tell you who made it. So today I'm going to tell you some Canadian inventions, and in part 3 I'm going to tell you about American inventions. You would be surprised. Everybody has wonderful ideas that they think will benefit everybody else. And let me tell you, a 12-man shaver is not a good idea. Having a hat radio is not a good idea. Building a 3-man or 4-man bicycle with a sewing machine in the middle and everybody else pedaling around you is not cool. But we all can't be geniuses. Some of us should keep our ideas to ourselves. That's just the way it goes. We all can't have great ideas. We could try, but we know what happens. Bad things. Because why? Let's see. First of all, I live in Canada, okay? I know there's a lot of people here that think they're smart. Unfortunately, they're not. Some of us Canadians are dumb as shit. And then there's some that actually have a brain and, use it for the good. But there are those that get away and have no brain, and they do the dumbest things and say the dumbest things. See, I have a brain, but my brain works faster when my mouse isn't yapping. See, I don't think about what I say sometimes, and sometimes it hurts people's feelings, okay? I can't say I'm perfect, but I do have to say I try. Plus, I get caught saying stupid shit at the wrong times. That's all. If I would have timed it better, nobody would have heard half the shit I said anyways. But that doesn't work in my world, because I'm cursed, and bad luck follows me wherever I go. Honestly, I'm not shooting you. Have a bubbly on me. So anyways, inventions. Inventions are a great way to express yourself. And, here in Canada, it's funny that we even have made inventions. One time I heard somebody say, a Canadian is an unnamed American with healthcare. Now, I think I should have been offended. But then again, that's true. We get away with a lot here. You know, Americans have to pay to see the doctor. We don't. But that's probably why a lot of Canadians always have issues. Because they have nothing better to fucking do but go see the doctor and waste his time. But enough of that. So, let's top off with some great Canadian inventions. You would be surprised what some Canadians have come up with. Okay, so maybe you didn't pay that much attention in history class, and maybe you're not the MVP on your local trivia team. Still, you can probably ace the Canadian Invention Cookie Quiz by our friends at CBC Life. But hey, if you struggled, don't worry. This is the perfect year to brush up on your knowledge of Canadian inventions. To help you on your quest, I'm going to give you some 16 inventions masterminded by Canadians. You would have never guessed. I would have never guessed. I was surprised as shit when I first saw this all. So, let's begin. Shall we? Perfect, eh? Just to make it sound perfect. So, number one, the paint roller. Yes. The paint roller was invented around 1940 in Toronto. By Norman Brakey. But he died before being able to patent his invention and profit from it. So, the first paint roller patent was held by American Richard Croxton Adams. But you guys didn't know that. Who would have guessed? The freaking paint roller. Number two. The garbage bag was invented by Harry Waisley. I don't think that's a good appropriate song. But anyways, and Larry Hansen in Winnipeg in 1950. The green polythene garbage bag was brought by, yes, it was bought by Union Carbide, who sold bags under the name Glad. Yep, around the same time, a third Canadian Toronto, Frank Plop, invented a similar product and is often credited as a co-inventor. Who would have thought? The freaking garbage bag. That must mean you're filthy or something. You know? Has to be. Number three. Oh, you would have never guessed. Shall I help you? The pager. Yep. It is all about the pager. I would have never thought that we came up with that either. Yeah. The pager was invented by Alfred J. Gross, a Toronto-based wireless communications pioneer, in 1949. Gross is also often credited as the inventor of the walkie-talkie, a distinction he sometimes shares with fellow Canadian Donald Haynes, He was also credited for having created the two-way radio in 1939. Gross also invented the CB radio and the cordless phone. Before he died, he was quoted as saying, "I was born 35 years too soon. If I still had the patents on my inventions, Bill Gates would have to stand aside for me." Who would have known? Number 4, peanut butter. Figure that Canadians invented peanut butter. I know, right? I was shocked myself. Although popular culture would have some believe otherwise, peanut butter wasn't invented by American botanist George Washington Carver. Rather, it was created in 1884 by Canadian pharmacist Marcellus Gilmore Edson, who likened the consistency of his product to that of butter, lard, or ointment. Wow, hey? Peanut butter came from Canada. Why, I guess, we came up with maple syrup. I'm sure we came up with all that other weird shit. But yeah, peanut butter came from Canada. Number 5, road lines. Oh yes. The road lines in the world were painted on a stretch of highway between Ontario and Quebec in 1930, having been invented by Ontario Department of Transport engineer John D. Miller. Yeah. We came up with those lines on the road, That's pretty good. I thought us Canadians were kind of, not too smart, but from what I read, we did a lot. Number 6. Oh, this is a good one, ladies. The Wonder Bra. I know, right? Although the term Wonder Bra was coined by American Israel pilot in 1935, Canadian Moses Nadler is one who popularized the brand. Nadler licensed the patent from Pilot and made his first Wonder Bra in 1939 at his Montreal-based Canadian Lady Corset Company. Yeah. When Pilot's patent expired in 1955, Nadler fought for and won the rights to Wonder Bra name in several major markets now. Now, we all know the Wonder Bra, but just think, it came from Canada. Holy shit. I know, right? Maybe we should have invented some better underwear. Number 7, Archie. Yes, the first internet search engine, Archie, was created by Alan Emtage at McGill University around 1988. Tired of performing the same task manually each day, Emtage wrote a set of scripts to search through FTP archives on a nightly basis. Eventually, it caught on to other early university internet users and was made available for public use in 1990. The Archie search engine can still be seen in all of its glory. Yes. Oh, number 8. IMAX. Yes, IMAX came from Canada. Who would have thought? Right? Yes, IMAX was invented by a trio of Canadian filmmakers. Graham Ferguson, Roman Kreuter, and Robert Keir in 1967. After being independently asked to produce large-screen films for Expo 67, In the Labyrinth and Polar Life, the filmmakers realized they needed different equipment. When they were asked by Japan to produce a film for its Expo 70, the men created Multi-Screen Corporation with some financial backing from Fuji to produce it. So all three men recruited engineer William Shaw to help them invent the cameras needed to film in image maximum, IMAX for short. Tiger Child, screened at Expo 70, was the first ever IMAX movie. I bet you didn't know that. Thank you for joining me, Daisy. Number 9. Oh, this is a good one. The pacemaker. Yes. The first pacemaker was built in 1949 by Canadian engineer John Hobbs, based on observations made by two Toronto-based cardiac surgeons, Wilfred Bigelow and John Callahan. Yeah. According to the National Research Council of Canada, Dr. Bigelow believed that the only way cardiovascular medicine could advance was by enabling open-heart surgery. To do that, he believed the body needed to be cold, which in turn slows the heart. Through their research and experiments, they noticed an electrical pulse could restart the heart. They tapped electrical engineer Hobbs to build a clinic device for them. Further developments made by them and other inventors led to the first implantable pacemaker in 1958. It was used on a Swedish man who, thanks to the device, lived to the age of 86. But that device needed frequent recharging. So, Wilson Greatback, therefore, is considered the inventor of the first practical implantable pacemaker. Hi, thank you for joining me. You wouldn't believe, right? I never believed it either. Number 10, basketball. Oh yes, I know there's so many skeptical people out there in the world, but basketball was invented by a Canadian. I am doing absolutely fabulous today, thank you. It's Friday. Can't do any better. Well, it could be Saturday, but still, it's Friday. So, basketball was invented by a Canadian. That's right. Anyone who's seen the Canadian Heritage Minute knows basketball was invented by Canadian James Naismith. However, despite being born in Ontario and educated at McGill University, he didn't invent it in Canada. Rather, he invented the sport while working as a physical education instructor at a YMCA in Massachusetts in 1891. He came up with the rule book the following year. He eventually moved to Kansas, where he became the University of Kansas' first basketball coach. Holy shit. If you want to join me live, you can, sure. Number 11. You wouldn't believe this one. The fiberglass goalie mask. That's right. It was invented by a Canadian. Not shitting you. You wouldn't believe. The fiberglass goalie mask was invented by former Montreal Canadiens goaltender Jacques Plante, who was tired of getting hit in the face by pucks. You're from Iran. Wow. So it must be a late afternoon? He wore it during a game for the first time in 1959, after being hit in the face by a puck during a Canadiens-New Yorker game. New Yorker. My God. After getting stitched up, he told his coach, Toe Blake, he wouldn't play without his mask. Despite Blake's initial objections, Plant immediately led the Canadians to an 18-game winning streak, silencing those who mocked him. Frickin' rights. I probably wouldn't enjoy getting hit. Marwa? Well, it's nice to meet you. I am Venus. And yes, I am Canadian. Number 12. Pablum. Now, for those who have kids, we all know what pablum is. Well, it's made by a Canadian. Pablum was invented in 1930 by 3 pediatricians at Toronto's Hospital for Sick Children. Doctors Frederick Tisdale, Theodore Drake, and Alan Brown, along with nutrition lab technician Ruth Herbert and chemist Harry Engel, made the cereal to help curb infant malnutrition and rickets. The original pablum mixed cereal contained, among other ingredients, pre-cooked wheat, bone meal, and reduced iron, was also fortified with several vitamins and minerals. I am from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. Yes. Where we get 7 months winter, 4 months summer. We freeze our asses off. But, you know, what can I say? Number 13. Insulin. Yes, insulin came from Canada. Insulin was discovered in 1921 by Toronto Dr. Frederick Banting and further developed at the University of Toronto by Banting, Charles Best, John McLeod, and Bertram Collop. Banting and McLeod were awarded the Nobel Prize in Psychology or Medicine 2 years later. So, you know what pablum is. For those of us who have kids, we know. For those of you who don't, it's that powdery, flaky cereal stuff that fills up your kids when they don't want anything else at all. But we need to fatten them up, to smarten them up, so we give them pablum. And it starts them to gain weight and become the chubby little porkers that, you know. I know my kids got porky when they ate pablum. I had to wean them off that stuff. I had to give them Fruit Loops, dry Fruit Loops. And then they got addicted to those. And then we went to Cheerios with the little bee on it. And yes, they still eat it dry out of the box till this day. Number 14. Sure, I like having fans. That is awesome. Thank you. Number 14. Java programming language. Yes, that is Canadian. The Java programming language was first developed in California in early 1990s by James Gosling, an Alberta-born computer scientist. Gosling is considered the father of Java, but did work on the language with his Sun Microsystems colleagues Mike Sheridan and Patrick Naughton. Java 1.0 was released by the company in 1995. According to Oracle, which bought Sun Microsystems, Java was meant to be used with an interactive handheld home entertainment controller that was originally targeted at the digital cable television industry. So, you ever wonder where Java came from? It came from Canada. I would have never guessed. I didn't think we were that smart. Number 15. Oh, you guys would not guess. The electric wheelchair. Hell yeah. The first electric wheelchair was developed by one of Canada's most accomplished inventors, George Klein, in 1953. The Ontario-born inventor worked at the National Research Council from 1929 to 1969, where he developed the electric wheelchair. Aircraft skis, the M29 missile, Army snowmobile, ATV, the microsurgical staple gun, the ZEEP nuclear reactor. Oh yeah, this guy did lots. The scientific language for snow and other feats of mechanical engineering. He was pulled out of retirement to consult on a Canadarm described by the Canadian Space Agency as Canada's most famous robotic and technological achievement. The motorized wheelchair, however, is widely considered to be one of the greatest artifacts in the history of Canadian science, engineering, and invention. I really thought that most of the Canadians here were pretty crazy. I didn't think we could come up with stuff like this. Did you? I wouldn't have thought. Besides saying A, eating bacon, and drinking beer on weekends, we are kind of useful, aren't we? So, number 16, the last one. Wireless radio transmission. Hell yeah. Canadian Reginald Aubrey Fessenden was a prolific inventor in the area of wireless technology. He was the first to broadcast on the AM radio band in 1900. Although he's often regarded as an unsung hero in Canada because his inventions in radio technology were outshined by Italian inventor Guglielmo Marconi. His last name is so hard to say. Fessenden? Wow. I'm not even sure if he's even Canadian. He built the two-way radio transmission towers, one near Boston and the other in Scotland, and issued the first transatlantic radio broadcast in 1906. So it took him 6 years to broadcast. But you know what? It was all worth it. Fessenden, there we go. Thank you. So, you know, Canadians our inventions came in handy. We use them every day. And half of them, I bet you didn't even know were Canadian. I didn't. When I was going through all this the other day, I was like shocked because I never thought garbage bags. Wow, such a crazy thing, but yet it came from here, and I use them all the time. So, what does everybody think? Any ideas? How about any of you? Have any of you had any smart ideas, but never got them patented? I bet you there's a lot of you out there that probably have great ideas, but just never got them patented. I know, like, there's thousands of ideas getting passed down, to get patented every year. Thousands and thousands. Bubbly on me. But some people can't afford them. I tried to do my great invention one day. You know those sticky plastic things that you stick on your windows, like for Christmas or Easter or whatever? You know what I mean? I thought, how about if you can put somebody's portrait on there, and you can stick their portraits instead of in a frame or whatever, you can stick it on a window or wherever there's a soft surface, like a shiny surface like that. So you can have their picture anywhere you go. Put it in the car, put it on, anywhere, on the fridge, anywhere, at work. Instead of always having these big, stupid frames hanging around all the time. Because eventually, a lot of frames add up and they get dusty. But those cling things, the ones that you cling to the window, I thought, why not? That would be a great idea. But for $600, I could have gotten it patented. But my situation, I'm too broke ass to pay that $600 to get the first patent made. Or else I would have did it. And of course, it's a fabulous idea. I think it is. Put a portrait on one of those cling things that stick to those soft, shiny surfaces, and you don't have to worry about big, bulky frames. Correct? Okay. So, there's the second part. And then we're going to go on to the third part. Guess what that is? The greatest American inventions of the past 50 years. Oh yes. You guys wouldn't even guess. But I'm going to tell you. I'm going to inform you. You would be surprised as to what you guys have came up with. In the States, I know I was. I was a little bit more surprised at the fact that that there were so many. Like, you guys toppled us by far. So, this is to the United States. American inventions. All right. Let's begin. So, 1971, personal computer. Apple, IBM, Steve Jobs, and Bill Gates are all household names in the tech world these days. But a relatively obscure man named John Blankenbaker is credited with inventing the world's first personal computer. Baker, where did I get burger from? Was a pioneer on the computing frontier when he built the Kenback 1 digital computer in his garage in California. Not shitting you. So, 1971, personal computer. That is very impressive. Very impressive. Oh, but I'm not done. 1971, the weed whacker. Yes. Tired of struggling to manicure the edges of his expensive Texas property after mowing, inventor George Ballas developed one of history's most important landscaping tool, the string trimmer. Although he called it the weed eater, it would forever be known as the weed whacker. I call it the weed whacker, or the weed trimmer, or the edge trimmer, whichever. 1971. Email. The era of constant connections began in 1971 when U.S. Department of Defense programmer Ray Tomlinson invented a way to send text-based messages from person to person. Figure that. Of course it had to be, a government official. Of course. Department of Defense. Who else would come up with an email? 1971. Waffle Sole Running Shoe. Track and field coach and Nike co-founder Bill Bowerman had been searching for a light, cleatless shoe that had good grip on varied surfaces. One morning, he poured a rubberized liquid into his wife's waffle maker, and the waffle sole was born. The shoe was such a success that Nike still sells waffle trainers to this day. Really? I have never seen those, you know that? But you guys have those in the States, so I'm assuming we never got that shipment. 1971. Universal Product Code, the UPC. If you've ever purchased anything, you know that virtually every product is tagged with a barcode that includes a series of vertical lines and a 12-digit numerical code. That code, the UPC, was invented by IBM engineer George Lohr in 1974. Before barcodes caught on, cashiers punched in all prices by hand. Hey! This isn't a US song, but it is kind of goofy. 1971, the e-book. As a young student at the University of Illinois, these guys are a bunch of jerks. Okay. At the University of Illinois in 1971, Michael Hart forever changed the world with the invention of the e-book. Hart came up with the path-breaking idea after he found a physical copy of the Declaration of Independence, which he decided to type up and send to other users on the university network. So the e-book came from the United States. Awesome. 1972. Video Game Console. From Atari and Intellivision to Nintendo and the graphically stunning web-based video game of today, gamers everywhere have Ralph Baer to thank for their hobby. Baer invented the Magnavox Odyssey, the world's first home video game console, after realizing that television, which was common by 1972, had more to offer. Oh, 1972, magnet resonance imaging. Countless human lives have been saved by the diagnostic capabilities of the MRI machine. widely considered one of the great breakthroughs in modern medicine. Dr. Raymond Damandine received a patent for his device in 1972 and would conduct the first full-body scan in 1977. Holy cow! 1973. Cell phones. Our modern mobile era can trace its roots to 1973 and an engineer and inventor named Martin Cooper, who developed the first handheld cellular phone. Mobile phones have been around since the 1940s, but their enormous size had a limited number of channels, rendered them impractical. Cooper placed the world's first cell phone call from his car in 1973. That's right. Do you remember the first when the cell phones came out? They were huge. You know, they came in like their own little bag. Hello, mister. Thank you for joining me, and good morning. 1974. Post-it notes. Who would have thought that came from the U.S.? I love those things. Those Post-it notes are awesome. Hi. So, in virtually every office in America these days, you can find small squares of bright colored paper glued temporarily to surfaces. In 1974, 3M co-workers Arthur Fry and Spencer Silver invented the now familiar Post-it notes, with the former creating the paper and the latter developing the glue. Oh, you guys are so smart. I love Post-it notes. I have them all over my house for everything. Everything. Like they're posted to, I'm serious, every damn thing. 1975. Digital camera. In 1975, the first nail was hammered into the film camera's coffin when Eastman Kodak engineer Steven Sasson invented the digital camera. The 24-year-old from Brooklyn was the first to use a new technology and digitalization to capture images. 4 decades later, we carry his invention in our pockets on our phones. 1978. Bulletin board system. Billions of human beings are now connected through social media. All online social channels, however, can trace their roots back to 1978 and the genesis of all social media. The BBS, developed by Ward Christensen and Randy Seuss. The BBS connected users and enabled them to share text-based information long before the arrival of Facebook, Instagram, and even MySpace. Oh, this one's my favorite. 1978. Microwave popcorn bag. In May 1981, William A. Branstad was awarded a patent for a product he invented 3 years earlier. His invention, the microwave popcorn bag, incorporated kernels, butter, and spices in a folded bag that trapped steam as it expanded, which then popped the kernels, forever changing our movie-watching experience at home. 1978 was notable as it was the year when the U.S. military launched the first satellite of a proposed 24-satellite global positioning system called Navstar, later known as the GPS system, and eventually used in part for civilian purposes. 1978. Electronic spreadsheet. People had been writing spreadsheets by hand for hundreds of years before the age of computers. But in 1978, Harvard Business School student Dan Brickling began work on what he called a visible calculator. It would go on to become VisiCal, the world's first electronic spreadsheet. VisiCal is arguably the first app in history, and it shipped running on the brand new Apple II computer in 1979. In 1979, voicemail. If you ever feel like you never truly get away, you probably have inventor Gordon Matthews to thank or blame. The exact origins of Matthews' idea aren't clear, but one version is that he spotted a collection of "while you were out" slips at a dump. That got the entrepreneur thinking, and in 1979, Matthews applied for a patent for his invention, the modern voicemail. 1981, Space Shuttle. The versatile and reusable Space Shuttle revolutionized the space program and space travel in general, although the shuttle was the result of a group effort. NASA pioneer Dr. George A. Mueller is credited with developing the shuttle after he completed Project Apollo, Space Shuttle. Columbia's maiden launch was April 12, 1981. Yeah, see, you guys already passed us by far. Like, it's impressive. 1981. Graphical user interface. If you enjoy using a computer without typing long strings of complicated codes, you have Douglas Engelbart and Alan Kay to thank. In 1981, the pair developed the graphical user interface, which allows users to click icons and images using a mouse, an item Engelbart invented more than a decade earlier. 1984, pointing stick. The device that would evolve into the familiar computer trackball and trackpoint started as the pointing stick, which was invented by IBM computer scientists Ted Zeckler and Joe Routledge in 1984. The tiny ball, which sits nestled between the G and H keys on a QWERTY keyboard, allowed users to interact with their graphical user interface directly from their keyboards. 1984, Macintosh personal computer. The computer age can be split into two eras, before 1984 and after. There was the year Apple released the Macintosh computer. Before the Macintosh, which was the first affordable computer ever to come with a graphical user interface and a mouse, computers were designed only for business, techies, and experts. The Macintosh made computers available for the average person in the average household. Interesting. 1984, nicotine patch. With the help of UCLA and the U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs, Drs. Murray Jarvik and Jed Rose and Daniel Rose invented the nicotine patch in 1984. The three men had been experimenting with transdermal nicotine absorption, and while as the psychology of smoking addiction before developing the patch, which has since helped countless smokers quit. I tried that once. It gave me a bad headache. Although, when you forget a patch and you put another one on, it kind of affects the brain, yeah. 1985, Lipitor. The best known member of anti-cholesterol statin family of drugs, Lipitor, is the biggest selling prescription drug in history. Countless patients at high risk for heart disease have extended their lives by taking Lipitor, which is now prescribed to 80 out of 1,000 people. The drug was first synthesized in the United States by Dr. Bruce Roth for Warner Lambert, a drug company with American roots dating back to the 1800s. 1986. "3D printing." Chuck Hall, known as the father of 3D printing, patented his technology-based 3D printing in 1986. The technique involves layering thousands of these thin sheets of plastic on top of each other to create a physical 3D object. Once a novelty for hobbyists, the technology has since been used in applications ranging from manufacturing to medical science. Get that one into you. Who would have thought? 1987. Roll-aboard luggage. Luggage with wheels dates back to the early 1970s. But it was a top-heavy version with a pull strap, which was clumsy. When compared to today's modern roll-aboard style luggage, invented by Northwest Airlines pilot Robert Plath, the roll-aboard incorporated a now familiar long, fixed, telescoping handle that enabled luggage to be pulled upright on two wheels. Just one of many American inventions that we now use on a daily basis. Or you use. 1987. Photoshop. Adobe Photoshop is such a staple for image editing that when a picture appears doctored, it is common to say it's been photoshopped, even if the picture was edited with a different program. The word didn't exist, however, before 1987, when the Knoll brothers, Thomas and John, developed the first version of the software, which was initially purchased by another company before Adobe realized its incredible potential. Who would have thought? 1987. Disposable contact lenses. Leonardo da Vinci imagined and illustrated the concept of contact lenses as far back as 1508, and companies began making them out of glass in the late 1800s. Oh my god, can you imagine putting a piece of glass in your fucking eye? Jeez. In 1987, however, Johnson & Johnson released the modern disposable contact lenses, beating rival Bach & Lomb to the punch. Wow, putting glass in your eyeball. Jesus, you may, yeah. Like, I don't think there's anything worse than that. 1988, the stealth bomber. Northrop Grumman unveiled a super plane it had been building for the better part of a decade. Oh yes, the B-2, better known as the stealth bomber, was a massive, deadly aircraft with a radar dodging design that made it nearly undetectable to even highly advanced anti-aircraft systems. 1990, Hubble Space Telescope. Modern astronomy is optimized by Hubble Space Telescope, named after Edwin Hubble, one of history's most important astronomers. The telescope was launched in 1990. The Hubble doesn't have one single inventor, but it had scientists to peer through 1 billion light years of space since it departed Earth. So, there's more inventors. There can only be one. Oh, this one is good. 1992, the smart pill. In 1992, a University of Buffalo professor, Jerome Shantag, that sounds so terrible, and the president of GastroTarget, David D. Andre, invented the smart pill, a revolutionary medical breakthrough. The smart pill is a medical device that is encapsulated in pill form and controlled by a computer. When patients swallow the pill, they swallow the device. Okay, that does not sound like a smart idea. 1993, UV watermarks. In 1993, Ashok Gadgil invented a lightweight, easy-to-use, and economical device that used UV light to purify water. It would process 4 gallons per minute at a cost of 5 cents for every 1,000 gallons. The product, which can deliver clean water to remote rural areas, has become vital in the wake of hurricanes and other natural disasters, and one of many American inventions that has helped to save lives. 1994, Predator drone. Once a military novelty, drones are now must-have weapons for the world's most formidable fighting forces. It all started with the first and still best known, the Predator. Although the world's most feared and most famous aircraft was developed by Israeli-born Abraham Karim. It was built in and for the United States. Who would have thought? Thank you for joining me again. 1996, Google. In 1996, 2 students named Larry Page and Sergey Brin unveiled a primitive crawler that examined all 10 million documents that existed on the World Wide Web at one time. The crawler would go on to become the name that it is, and which everybody knows, Google. That's right, Google. Who would have thought that? 1999, Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi is a critical ingredient for daily life in the digital age. Although the government had been utilizing Wi-Fi before 1999, that was the year it was released to the public, but not before a major naming war and a scrambling to build compatible devices by several rival companies. During the last year of the 20th century, Apple began adding Wi-Fi slots to all its laptops. So see, you guys have made Wi-Fi. See, we made garbage bags. See, I think our intelligent level here in Canada is not so shit hot. I don't think us Canadians are very smart. See? You Americans, on the other hand, have came up with fighter bombers and, all that other stuff. Although we did come up with the pacemaker and we did save a lot of lives, but still, a dumbass can do that. And of course, us Canadians, we're not that smart. We can't be. We only have 16 inventions. You guys have pages and pages of this stuff. Like, that's not fair. So, 2001. iPod. See, there's another one. Although several other companies had released their own MP3 players, Apple's introduction of the iPod in 2001 revolutionized portable music and set the tone for how many people would interact with their devices in that digital age. It also positioned Apple as the dominant force in tech hardware for the next decade. Of course, iPod. Although I have to say, my iPod kaputted, meaning it did not last. So I kind of really have to say that one was kind of a shitty one. 2001 Segway. I always wanted one of those, but they cost so much money. But although I should have looked that up, who invented the, what do you call that? Oh my god. Like roller skates or, stuff like that, where it doesn't cost us poor people so much money. But the Segway was introduced to one of the most easily identifiable transportation devices ever created. But it costs a lot of money. The Segway was the brainchild of Dean Kamen, one of the most popular inventors of the modern age. Oh, see, and here's another. 2001, bio-artificial liver. See, you guys even came up with a liver. Like, we didn't even come up with that. Like, holy cow. Although, we came up with basketball, the garbage bag. That's interesting. Hailed by Time magazine as one of the best inventions of 2001, the bio-artificial liver brought new hope to patients around the world. Developed by Dr. Kenneth Matsumura, the bio-artificial liver utilized both the patient's blood and live rabbit cells to mimic the blood cleansing process of the natural organ. Okay, did that just say rabbit parts? Rabbit cells. So they're mixing rabbit parts? Oh my god. No wonder people act fucked up. 2004, Facebook. In 2004, Harvard University student Mark Zuckerberg launched the Facebook, a social media network he created for his fellow students. He would soon drop the network out beyond the walls of Harvard and make sneakers and hoodies the standard uniform for millennial tech barons. Facebook is now worth around $615 billion, and its founder is one of the richest people in the world. Who would have fucking thought some punk-ass kid came up with Facebook? Now it's worth $615 billion. Son of a gun. 2005, YouTube. It is the world's most popular video sharing site, developed by PayPal employees Chad Hurley, Steve Chen, and Jad Karim. The site's near-friendly, shareable format has been a key mover in not just America's culture, but world events, from the Arab Spring revolt to the rise of the Justin Bieber. Oh my god, I hate that kid. Anyways, 2006. Oh, another one. Twitter. Okay, I'm getting a feeling that all of you Americans have came up with the technology kind of part. Or the programming, I should say. Not the technology part, but the programming, the apps. Interesting. And yeah, Canada hasn't even come up with one, or maybe we did. I just didn't look it far enough. Probably not, like I said. A lot of Canadians are dumbasses. Trust me. Too much snow to the brain, I think. So anyways, 2006 Twitter. Co-founder Jack Dorsey sent the world's first tweet, Twitter, which was co-founded by fellow programmers Biz Stone and Evan Williams in San Francisco, who would go on to the revolution of communication, journalism, entertainment, and politics. Today, 500 million tweets are sent every single day by 310 million active users. 310 million. That's a lot of fucking people on one system. 2007, iPhone. The mobile phone was nearly universal, but that year Apple, under the stewardship of Steve Jobs, revolutionized the budding smartphone industry with a device that crammed the operational capacity of a computer into the body of a phone. The iPhone was born. Wow. iPhone, like what else? Oh, what is that one? 2009, Fitbit. The world was introduced to a revolutionary personal fitness tracker called Fitbit. In time for Christmas in 2009, invented by James Park and Eric Friedman, the device measures and records vital statistics and activity. Today, Fitbit claims more than 31 million active users and more than 1/3 of the wearable tech market. Wow. You know, you're in BC. Well, that's cool. You guys should be having nice weather over there. Because you know why? Because it's raining here, so it has to be nice there. So there you go, people. There's American Inventions. You lucky buggers, you. I have to look that up. No, us Canadians, we are very scarce on here. Everybody's American and American. So that's why I say there's a lot of Canadians that are dumbasses. Because I'm sure the American side could agree. And we don't say A all the time, and we don't drink beer every day. And what else? We don't have beavers for pets. We don't live in igloos. Definitely not. And we do have heaters in our house. No, we don't say that. We're not supposed to say that. Oh, right. And wood stoves and moccasins and We have to go hunting all the time to eat. Yeah, like, we just don't do that. We go to the grocery store. We have big boilers that heat our homes. Beavers live by the lake. They would kick our ass if we tried to make one as a pet. And bacon, okay, some people eat bacon every day, but that's just a thing. It's not because we're Canadian. It's just that's just what you do for breakfast, right? And we don't say a lot, or to the point where we notice it anyways. But some of us maybe okay, maybe we do. We have a lot of slang words more than Americans. Our slang words have upgraded since I remember slang. Like yo and bro, like now it's different. It has upgraded. Oh yes. Um, and yes, beavers. No, if you try to catch a beaver, he will kick your ass. That tail, he would beat the shit right out of you, and I'm pretty sure you will not be taking him home because he'll kick your ass every day and probably make a den out of your furniture in your house. So that's what they do. We cannot have them as pets. But that was funny when I read that though. Beavers as pets? Like, holy smokes. Oh, in Canada, we're not allowed to carry a gun like you guys in the US, or drink in public where you can buy booze at the grocery store. No. We have to wait till 10 o'clock in the morning to go actually to the liquor store. You guys can go shopping and buy booze while carrying a freaking Glock or whatever the fuck you're carrying. We can't do that here. We would we would get arrested. And yeah, some of us we would like to, but it's illegal. It is. It's totally illegal here. Can you imagine going to the US and actually being able to carry a gun? I think I would be so excited I'd have to shoot somebody. Serious. But then when people from the US come here and they're like, oh no, you gotta lock that up. How does that feel? See? You get de-weaponized, and if we go there, we get weaponized. See how that is? That's pretty cool, I think. We don't have to pay to see a doctor, but that's probably why there's a lot of people in Canada that have or think that they're sick and they go see the doctor every day. Maybe if we did have to pay, maybe there wouldn't be so many fake sick people in the world. I don't know. Or maybe just some people in Canada have nothing better to do. I don't know. I know I wouldn't be going to the gynecologist every freaking second day. Um, like some people, yes, we have free healthcare kind of here. Some of us, we don't pay for our medications either, but that's a special majority of people. Um, oh, yes, okay, you can carry a gun, but if it's loaded, we're going to go to jail. And we can't shoot anybody. But see, that would be our defense if we went to the States. Because I know I would be trigger finger happy. I would be, I really shouldn't say that, but that's my show, right? I just didn't say that. Well, guess what? I'm going to say it. I would be trigger happy and I would have to shoot somebody. But that's probably why I live in Canada. That's probably why I live here. Because I would be more than happy to shoot somebody. I don't know why. Maybe just, I don't know. Maybe I do need anger management. Maybe I should have finished that course. No. But there we go. There's the Canadian inventions, and now you have the American inventions. And for some reason, you guys have interesting ones. Like, all the technical app parts came from the US. I'm surprised. Bless you. I'm surprised. I thought maybe China or something like that, but no. All from you guys. That's impressive. But hey, we came up with basketball, garbage bags, the weed whacker you guys did. So that was pretty cool. The pacemaker came from Canada. So, we did save a life, kind of. Pablum, see, we fatten your kids up. That came from Canada. Pablum. Who would have thought? A powdered, shaved, like, flaky thing like that, but it expands, like just like dog food. When dog food gets wet, that's what Pablum does. It makes your kids fat. That's okay. Just wean them off on, like I say, first wean them off on Fruit Loops, and then wean them off of Fruit Loops, and then make them eat Cheerios. My kids still eat Cheerios out of the box dry. But Pablum's supposed to be good for your kids. So don't forget that. I don't know if you guys get that in the States, but if you don't, look it up. Because our kids are supposed to be fat when they're small. Not to the point where they can't see their wiener when they stand up, but I mean, they're supposed to be chunky anyways. Because that means they're healthy. You take a skinny kid to a doctor when they're like 1, the doctor's going to look at you and go, are you feeding your kid? So if they're plumpy and their face has big gopher cheeks, you're doing great. But wean them off when they're like 2 or 3, slowly. Because that fat is not going to go away very fast. So, happy Friday means happy bubbly day. So have a bubbler on me. I'm going to have one. And while I'm having one, oh, fuck me, my lighter died. Oh, that's the end of the world. Burn, can I use your lighter? You can't have a bubbly without a lighter. Oh God, this lighter hates me. Holy shit, that's like a rocket torch. But anyways, people, those are the amazing inventions of Canadian American minds. Have a bubbly on me, see? It's amazing if you actually look into like the history of certain things, Like I looked up a whole bunch of stuff. And inventions were pretty cool. So way to go, America! You beat us there too. You buggers. But that's okay. So, I hope you enjoyed the show, everybody. Happy Friday. I am Venus. And you have been listening to I Just Didn't Say That. Oh, but I fucking do. Every time. I stick my foot in my mouth all the time. I think my brain just, it doesn't catch on to what I'm saying until it actually comes out of my face. Because when I think about it and I say it, it seems okay. But somehow my mouth transitions it into something else. I don't know what the hell happened.
There's a torch right there.
Yeah, this one is pooped. But I will be back later this evening because I have some shows to make up. Since now I have a new laptop that has no freaking gigabytes barely, but it has audio, which my other computer does not. Because when I try to talk to anybody, I don't see this little green line moving. So my audio on my other computer is kaput. But that's okay, because now I have this one. So now I can bullshit here. So this evening, I can't tell you. Or maybe I should. This evening's podcast is all about conspiracies. Oh, it's going to be good, let me tell you. I fucking did so much research on that shit. Our governments have been lying to us for a long time, them bastards. But that's okay, because I'm going to inform you on some shit. Some important stuff. So stay tuned this evening, and you'll find out what it is. So happy Friday. Don't work too hard, because it's the weekend. Slack as much as you can today. Actually, don't even go to work. Phone in sick. Just make sure you cough, like, when you talk to your boss, goes, oh, you have a sore throat. And I don't know. Come up with something. It's Friday. Skip school, skip work. No, don't skip school. Yeah, fuck it. Just skip maybe half a day. See? And this is why my show is called I Just Did Not Say That. That's why. So, thank you for joining me, everybody. It's been a great pleasure to entertain you. And I shall see you all this evening. Join me. I'm sure you're going to want to know what our fucked up governments have been doing. Because I'm so willing to tell you. So, talk to you guys later. Bye for now.